All right, go ahead.
Zach, let's start with some injuries. T. Higgins, how did he come out yesterday?
He came out cleared, didn't have to go into concussion protocol, so that worked out well for us.
Samaje?
Samaje will be a couple of weeks. We'll get through the bye and see where it's at. High ankle sprain.
And then Shemar Stewart.
We'll see where that ends up. We'll get through the bye and see where that's at.
What exactly happened? His knee, something?
Second to last drive, so we'll get more information on that and see how long it is.
Zach, what's been Duke's assessment of just what's going on defensively and what may be able to improve after the bye?
I'm not going to speak for anybody. I mean, for us, we got to execute better. Obviously, we got to get everybody on the same page and execute the fundamentals and the details of what we're trying to do. And I think everyone's in favor of that, and everyone wants to do that. We haven't done a great job of that, especially over the last couple of weeks. And so we're all accountable for that. That's what we'll spend our Y week doing as coaches, trying to find a way to get everybody to play on the same page all the time. We got a lot of young players that are out there at the same time, and so getting those guys the experience they need together is only going to make us better in the future. And so, again, we're just working through all that. Guys are all accountable for it. Everybody wants to play winning defense, winning football, winning team football, winning offense, all that stuff. So that's what we'll continue to try to do.
Did you consider any staff changes over the past
No.
24 hours?
No.
What gives you the belief that
These are good football coaches. They've been successful everywhere they've been. And so, again, we're still in the first half of this season. We all know we got to play better as a football team. There's been challenges our offense has faced over the course of the season. We worked through them. We're playing better for it. There's challenges our defense are facing right now. I'm confident that we're going to work through it. We're going to play better football and find a way to win some games.
Just to follow up on that, can you clarify you don't plan to make any staff changes on the defensive side of the ball?
No, I believe in these guys. Absolutely. And so we'll continue to work through it and find solutions.
Can you just elaborate a little bit on what you're seeing behind the scenes from a week-to-week basis from Al that gives you that
Yeah,
much
working like
confidence?
crazy. He's a great football coach. He's doing everything he can to uncover every single stone to make us play better. I mean, we're all sick for the way that these games have gone, him probably as much as anybody else on this planet. And so I trust in him, trust in his staff, that we're going to keep working and get all these guys on the same page, executing at a high level, and be a good defense going forward.
Zach, they threw a lot of trick plays, misdirection, screens, all that kind of stuff at you guys. What can the defense do better against those types of plays?
Well, you got to be, again, they're waiting for a first down, so you got to be better early in the drive to take that stuff away from them. So when you get into a rhythm, that's when you feel most comfortable calling that kind of stuff. Obviously, they felt like they got into a rhythm and threw a lot at us. So again, it was reminiscent, really, the 2019 49ers game in week 2. They did a lot of that kind of stuff too, and so it kind of took me back there. A lot of the same stuff you're seeing. It's a really good staff. I mean, they're as creative as it gets, and they really challenge you and put you in a lot of binds. And obviously, a lot of those things worked for them yesterday.
Zach, what's been the most concerning thing you've seen from the defense for the last 2 weeks?
I think we just have to be great tacklers and just execute our fundamentals at a high level. So there's plenty of times where it's 10 guys doing exactly what we need them to do, and one guy getting outside of his lane and giving up a big run or a big rush. And so, again, it's just we got a mixture of some veteran guys. We got a mixture of a lot of young guys in there, and they're green together, and we got to get that experience ramped up very quickly. I trust that we can do it. We're going to continue to work to do it and find a way to get some stops.
you obviously just vouch for your entire defensive staff?
Yeah.
I know you're not going to give us exactly what conversations have been like, but when it comes to Duke Tobin or ownership and what they've said, are they confident in the defensive side?
I should not speak for anybody. We have great staff, great conversations. Everyone's on the same page that we just want to win, and we want it to look good when we're winning. And so, again, there's nobody that lacks accountability in any area. We're all just trying to do everything we can to get better, but I'm certainly not going to speak for anybody.
What about looking for different answers, looking for different
Yeah, I mean,
ways to go about?
yeah, that would infer that we're not looking for different answers. I mean, we're all we spend every single waking moment is trying to find a solution to play better and be able to go win games, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Do you think the young players, and you have a number of them on the roster, either first, second, or third year players, feel the weight, the significance of the season slipping away in week 8?
Well, we've talked about it. We've talked about this. This can't be a lost season for us. This has got to be. We got to come out of this bye rejuvenated and find a way to win. And winning one game certainly propels you, and you've got to build some momentum off of that. We had a chance after the Pittsburgh game and kind of wasted 2 opportunities there. And how much different things could have been if we had finished these 2 games out. We'd still have issues we have to address, but we'd be in a better position. And so we just got to find a way to kickstart that and build our own momentum there. So we got players, young and old, that are accountable. They all want to do well. They're all, again, I say this a lot, they're all made of the right stuff. We have a good locker room. I know yesterday it was frustrating and emotional after a game like that. That's not to be unexpected. But we'll just continue to get back to work and keep grinding.
Do you feel like the solutions are still in this building?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do.
When you talk about tackling, I'm sure from day 1 to day 200, wherever you're at now, it starts with wrapping up. You still got guys just kind of throwing shoulders and not doing that. How do you get guys out?
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at every solution we can in meetings and in practice. All we can do is continue to work at it. And again, there's not a magic solution that we're all of a sudden we would do it if we could. And so we just keep working through it in practice. We keep detailing it, keep showing every single clip, and it's got to improve.
You've made changes to the starting lineup throughout the first 9 weeks of the season. Is
Yeah.
that something you would assess over the?
Well, I think we're always looking at the best way to put the best 11 guys out there. And so that doesn't change now or 5 weeks ago or 5 weeks from now. So we'll always continue to assess. We're not afraid to make changes we got to make. And if we see something that we think will make us better, then we won't hesitate to do that.
How much more can you get involved defensively in general, and then specifically with a bye week here, find ways to dive into that side of the ball, or do you kind of still leave that to Al?
Yeah, more so to them. I'll be involved. As the head coach, you're accountable for everything. I'm also not going to pretend that my expertise is on the defense side of the ball. I can see it from an offense perspective, but you've got probably, 100 years of experience on the defense side of the ball. They've spent every second of every meeting. Becoming a head coach doesn't just make you an expert on the other side of the ball that you didn't major in your whole life. So there's ways I can help them from the offense perspective, see things maybe from a different lens. Spent a lot of time with Al and those coaches this morning. We'll continue to do that through the week. And just help in any way I can. And again, I trust those guys. Those guys have been really successful everywhere they've been. And we're going to be successful here. And again, we're going to work this week and try to find a way to make our team better.
Was your tone or message any different today than a typical Monday?
You'd have to ask the players that, I guess.
How hard are those meetings when you meet with Al, especially over the past couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, we meet every day, so it's not like there's just this special meeting that we have after the game. It's constant communication, and so I think when you're doing that, and you asked me my question about ownership and Duke, we meet all the time, see them all the time. So there's not this special thing that's all of a sudden happening. So again, we'll keep doing a great job communicating and trying to grow.
What have the conversations been like that you and Duke have had as you guys have kind of assessed the season?
Yeah, listen, we're on the same page. I'm not going to get into every conversation I have with every person, but we're on the same page. I think we all want to do better. We all don't want to be at the record we're at right now. So that shouldn't be shocking for anybody to hear that. We have high expectations for this season. We did at the start of the season. We still do now. And so we just got to find a way to again, make progress and find this win against Pittsburgh when we come back from the bye.
You talked about him coming when Flacco was potentially available. He kind of gave your opinion, and you kind of went and gave him, your thoughts. How was that kind of back and forth kind of evolved and progressed over the years, especially as you close to the deadline or when they're looking at evaluating talent to maybe come in the building? How was that process like between you and him?
I mean, it's the same as it is in the offseason. Anybody that we need to be aware of, that they want our opinion on, they give it to us, and we give the opinion, and then the decision gets made. So it's not. I know there's a lot of attention at the trade deadline always, but our communication is not any different than it is from any other week. And so again, if there's something that gets brought to our attention, we'll give our 2 cents. We'll watch a player give our 2 cents, but trust our scouting department to make the decisions they make.
How hopeful are you that Trey Hendrickson's on the roster after the deadline?
Yeah, I think we can win with the players that we have, and so we'll just continue to work forward with all of them.
Is there any new information on Burrow and where he stands? I know yesterday you mentioned he's been obviously getting after.
I don't have new information on it. I know that he's getting after it. I know that he's doing everything he can to get himself ready. And so again, I'm not going to make any declaration on what that timeline is going to be, other than the only way I'll speak for him is I think he's happy with the progress that he's making. And again, there's no timeline for when that's going to be, but things are going according to plan.
Such thin margins yesterday. 1 or 2 plays go differently. Just to play with Orlando on the unsportsmanlike after the play. What did he say to you, and what did you say back to him on that penalty?
I don't remember what I said to him. I know he's been accountable multiple times yesterday and today for what happened to me privately, to the team publicly. And so again, it's something that we can't go from a first and goal in the 5 to second goal in the 20. That's 4 points off the board. We left a lot of points on the board yesterday. It was so again, we're talking a lot about the defense in here, but offensively, I was really disappointed that we didn't score more points. And that's frustrating that, you know, when we have the opportunity to put more points on the board and not execute, could have found a way to win it that way, you know, and then fix the problems that we're having. But we just didn't get it done.
You mentioned yesterday you wanted to reflect on the intentional grounding, then the fourth down process as the field goal team went on
Yeah.
the field. Kind of what was your takeaways you thought?
Yeah, we're right there on the fringe of where we wanted to be for the field goal. You're kind of making a decision at that point. Are you comfortable going down 4 at that point in the game with the score the way it was? And getting a stop and finding a way to go score. And I thought that in the split second that's where we could go. You know, it ended up being a really tough decision that either way, you know, the 4th and long or the field goal, the percentages are probably very similar on how it's going to play out. Probably more so better off kicking the field goal than converting on the 4th and long. So again, there's an imperfect answer there that I think depending on game, weather, all that things could maybe change a little bit, could maybe make a different decision in a different game and come back to the decision I made. So again, it's just, there wasn't a great solution there on which way to go with that.
From the outside, Zach, a lot of people wonder why losing 5 of 6, the way the last 2 games have ended, why don't you make changes? Is the status quo acceptable? You know, people wonder on the outside, why
Yeah.
do you feel that you do have the solutions in the building, not make any change? Why is that?
Because I've been through this situation before. We've been through this situation many years and come out the other side playing for championships, winning divisions by sticking with what we believe in and not doing what everybody wants you to do by sticking with it. I'm thankful that in 2020 they didn't kick me out of here, so we were able to go to the Super Bowl the next year. And so, again, I believe in the people that we've hired. I sit in there, I watch these guys coach. I know what they're made of. I know where we can continue to grow. And so when you believe in people, you don't just make a gut reaction from what people want to see that aren't necessarily a part of it. I understand the frustration. I get it. I'd be frustrated too if I was outside the building. We're going to get it fixed. We're going to continue to work it. I trust every coach we got in this building to get it done, or else they wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have hired them in the first place. And so, again, I got firm belief that we can get this done and we can do with the players we have and find a way to get some wins. And, again, there's some things we got to clean up. We got to do better. There's a coaching side of that, too, where we got to find ways to push the right buttons for these guys to get them exactly to do it how we want to do it. But I trust that we can get that done.
You've been very vocal about the young linebackers and trying to get them accelerated.
Yeah.
After the last couple of weeks, is there any conversation on maybe reevaluating some of the veterans that you have in that room and seeing how they might be able to help?
I think we're always you saw Warren play a little bit more yesterday, you know, and so I think we're always trying to find ways to give a guy a breather so he can settle down a little bit, get guys to continue to progress. I look at the linebackers on their team, you know, they've a ton of experience there. And our guys are in starts, 8 and 9 and 5 or 6. And so there's going to be things they're going to learn on the fly. And I trust those guys. That's why they're out there, because I see the potential they have. And there's going to be some things we continue to work through. There's some things they're doing a great job of. There's some plays that have been tremendous that we're going to continue to build off of. There's going to be mistakes that they're going to make once and correct it. There's going to be a couple things they might mess up 2 or 3 times, and we'll get it corrected. I mean, we're always working to get it corrected. And, again, it's just we got a lot of those guys out there at times together working through it. Sometimes 2 of them might be doing a great job, and another one's, you know, going through a learning experience. And so we're just going to continue to find ways to clean it up and play as well as we could.
You're obviously playing a bunch of young guys, offensive line, linebacker. What gave you the confidence that you should be able to go through those growing pains and it's worth it to try to go through those?
That's just the decision we made, you know, and that's just to work through it. We see the potential with these guys. We see some of the leadership qualities with these guys. And, again, it's not going to be perfect, and there's going to be some learning moments, but I believe in them that we're gonna start playing at a high level.
I'm not sure how much this really matters or not, but those 2, the young guys, the linebackers, they spoke to us yesterday, and it kind of prompted questions about if there's enough defensive accountability that y'all have on that side of the ball. Do you feel, regardless of kind of how they operate with us, that there is enough defensive accountability?
I think guys got to continue to step up. I'm not afraid for young guys to step up. You know, it doesn't have to be a veteran, doesn't have to be a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 year veteran. It can be a young guy that's done things the right way and is accountable and the guys respond to, and it doesn't have to be perfect. But I think those young linebackers have leadership qualities, and guys see the way they work and how much it means to them. And so if they were to speak, I think that guys would listen to them, you know, and I think there's a lot of guys that fit that I remember Sam Hubbard going through this as a young player, kind of afraid to speak because there were other veterans in the room that kind of had that position and always pushing him to guys respect the way you work. And eventually that clicked for him and he took over that ownership and was a tremendous leadership for us. There's similar positions I feel right now where we're pushing guys. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to step on toes. We just want to win games and we want everyone to be accountable. And if you got leadership qualities, step up and say something. And sometimes there's quiet leadership too, guys just doing what they do and doing it the right way, and guys respond to that as well. So that when they do speak every so often, then it really resonates with other guys, and we got some of that as well.
One of those young guys is Dylan Fairchild on the offensive line. How do you think he's fared since he's come back from
Yeah, I think he's continued to make a lot of improvement. I think both he and Jalen are gaining a lot from this experience. They're surrounded by veterans. They're surrounded by two captains. So again, you're seeing that play from them continue to develop. I thought yesterday they both had good games. So it's, again, things that we're going to continue to grow on and excited about their futures.
How is Joe Flacco feeling today?
I'm sure he feels awful. I'm sure he feels terrible. And because I know what he went through last week. I know what he sacrificed for this team. People may never know the full extent of what he did. But what an unbelievable week that he had, performance that he had. You've kind of heard me get up here and just gloat about what he did because it's everybody that's around him knows what he just did for this team. And I'm sure he can't even pick up his arm today, and he's with his 5 kids right now. Send them out of here, get out of here. You need to go home. You've done everything you can do for us right now. You're not going to do us much good today and tomorrow. So again, he needs that, and we'll see where he's at next week. I'm sure he's going to be in a lot of pain as this week continues, but you can't get it out of him. I can't get him to tell me he's in pain. I know it. I can see it. I know what it looks like, but you can't get him to say it, which says a lot about him.
What was his reaction when you said get out of here?
He's thankful. I think he's thankful. Yeah.
What do you think of his accuracy? I mean, he threaded the needle on a few of those.
Yeah. I mean, that's, it's part of, he's coming here and helped us give us what we need. And, he's been a Super Bowl MVP, won a lot of playoff games. I think he's tied for the most road playoff wins in NFL history. So he's done this at a high level for a long time. We've given him a great platform with some great players around it. He's done a great job leading that until Joe gets back. And, we're thankful he's been able to step up and play through some of the things he stepped up. And again, I still think as an offense we left some stuff out there. And that's what's frustrating is we had some great performances and still left some stuff out there. And could have just won the game that way, with more points on offense.
Side note, is there a thought of putting Browning out for the Hail Mary at the end, knowing just the shoulder, how far it was? I don't know if that's something you think about.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to have to do that maybe.
There are times in my life where that has happened. If you've got a guy who's that's his redeeming trait is he's got a big, powerful arm, can kind of come cold off the sideline. Joe was our best option there, and it's not fair to Jake to put him out there cold like that and try to launch one up there.
I wanted to ask you about the defensive line. How, when you talk about needing changes and trying to make guys play better, when guys just are not winning up front, how does it get better? How does it get better when guys are getting moved and just not winning enough?
Yeah, I mean, there's still coaching that's involved in that, so you see it as not winning. There's still technique things that we can improve on. There's rush lanes we can do a better job of. Sometimes to allow other people to win too. You're not always going to win every single one. If you did, you'd be an all-pro player and it would be great. We'd have plenty of them. But it's also just about sometimes on some rush lanes, 4 guys doing exactly the way they're supposed to do it, not 3, not 3.5. And all of a sudden the one guy gets out of his lane and now Caleb Williams is out the door. There was a little bit of that yesterday. So again, that's 4 guys on all snaps when we're only rushing 4, doing exactly the way they're supposed to do it. Allowing the coverage on the back end to match it and keep them trapped in the pocket and not allow them to get out. And so, again, those are easy things to clean up, very easy, that guys can be accountable for, that we've pointed out. It's not the same guy every time. It can be one guy doing it in one snap and another guy doing another snap. And part of a great defense is everybody just doing it the way it's supposed to be done in every single snap, and we're going to get there.
Do you feel there is currently enough talent on the defensive side of the ball to compete at a championship level in the league?
Yes.
You mentioned yesterday, Zach, how much you have to fight every day to maintain your culture, not let this become an offense-defense thing. Chase Brown unloaded some frustration yesterday publicly. Do you want players to have the freedom to vent, or do you have to talk to them?
Not if you're not doing everything you can on your own, and I've pointed that out with Chase. There was 2 big plays that we could have done better that would have led to points. And so I think I liked Jamar a little bit better. I can tell Jamar's frustrated, but he doesn't want guys coming at him if he's had a poor performance or something that he was disappointed in. So I trust that that's a one-time thing, and we'll learn from that. That's not how we want to react. And one of our best players, one of our highest character players, I think in a moment of frustration said that, and I don't expect that to happen again.
Chase had the drop. What was the other
Miscommunication.
Going back to the young guys, and Andre's not a rookie, Yoshi was, but he was going through some struggles, seemed to kind of come out of it on the other side yesterday. Does that kind of validate that stick with it attitude?
I mean, that's just part of what we deal with. You know, it's not just overreacting to a couple of bad moments that are frustrating. We've seen the body of work that he's put in to get to the position he's in. And sometimes guys don't get enough credit for the plays that they've made leading up to that point. And it's easy to point out the errors that they've made and the disappointing plays. And so again, for us as coaches, it's just evaluating the full body of work, and they've gained that trust. He's put that credit in the bank, and I feel really good about where he's at, knowing that he's going to pull through some tough spots. And so again, it's none of our coaches or players are perfect. We're all going to have moments where we could have done better. I've got plenty of mine. Players have had theirs. So it wasn't surprising at all to see Yoshi respond the way he did, because that's just he doesn't overreact, I don't believe, to the good and the bad. He just keeps working. And when you got enough guys like him and like Chase Brown, like I know I just talked about Chase. I love Chase to death, and that's part of my conversation with him is this is a little bit outside of you. And so again, just believing in those guys and continue to stick with them, and we're going to see great things from them like you saw from those guys yesterday.